What we're seeing here in 2026 is one of the driest springs that we've had in years, even in my region here in the Southeast. And I've already had those folks in the Southwest reaching out and asking me about wetting agents from my 2025 video. And here we are in early spring talking drought. And that's exactly why I wanted to get this video out earlier than July, because wetting agents may be one of the best tools I know to help you survive this summer and the stress from drought. And I don't say that lightly. In nearly 40 years in turfgrass management, there may be no specialty product that I have seen that saves grasses dramatically and as quickly and as good as a wetting agent can. I have used wetting agents on golf courses for decades. The first time I was exposed to them was way back in the 1990s at Prestonwood Country Club in Raleigh, North Carolina, or actually Cary, North Carolina, just outside of Raleigh. We had bent grass putting greens in brutal summer heat, and every evening we had to go out and water localized dry spots. I was assigned 6 greens, and almost every night I was dragging hoses, plunging into quick couplers, and hand watering those greens to keep them alive through the hot Carolina summer. Then we applied primer, one of the products you'll see here in a golf course management comparison chart that I'll show here. And almost overnight, localized dry spots nearly disappeared. I hardly had to hand water greens anymore. I was amazed. It was one of those products that made me stop and say, hey, there's something here. Most homeowners have never heard much about wetting agents, but I want to introduce them to you because they can absolutely help you get through the drought and heat of summer stress. And honestly, after using these for decades, it is probably the only specialty product that I consider insurance for summer survival. Some of you may remember the sponge demonstration I did back in my 2025 video. Going to roll that footage here again. On the one side is untreated. Water beads up and runs off. On the treated side, water penetrates right in. That was a hydro holder product. The simple way to visualize that can happen to hydrophobic soils. Researchers even refer to something called critical soil moisture content, where dry soils can reach a point where they begin repelling water. That's where wetting agents can help. Modern surfactants improve infiltration, improve moisture distribution into the root zone, and in some cases, improve moisture retention. They can help irrigation and rainfall be more effective. And that's why I like starting them before the stress rather than waiting until the turf is struggling in the summer. Good rule of thumb is about 30 days typically before you get into the summer drought stress, make your applications. Now, some of those products I've trusted for years is Primer Select. Still one of the best products I've ever seen. And the golf course management article referred to here in my last year's video, and they compared H2O Maximizer to a number of wetting agents I used on golf courses, including Primer. That got my attention because H2O Maximizer held its own among products used professionally. That's why I've continued recommending it throughout this last year. After my 2025 video, R&R Products actually ran out of H2O Maximizer. I get a lot of great feedback on the channel, and Matt used H2O Maximizer after my 20 video from last year, my 2025 video on this. You can see before, you can see after. And this is what I really like about doing this channel is I can help people with the lawn and they get excited about it. And I get excited about that. So I get a testimonial that's unsolicited from somebody who doesn't have anything to do with the channel. I only get the great best products on this channel for you. I found 3 sources where you can get it. Glempers currently has it the cheapest, around $97 for a 2.5-gallon jug. I actually ordered 2 myself from them to get free shipping. R&R Products has carried it as well. They're around 119. And North South Supply also has it for around 127. And I want to be very clear, those are not affiliate links. I make nothing for saying this. I simply am giving you 3 sources where you can find the product. That's how much I believe in it. Now, if you have a smaller lawn, I still think the hydro holder that I used in the demonstration is a good option for homeowners with small lawns. I used it a couple years ago and found that it did indeed work well for smaller properties below 5,000 square feet. I'll put a QR code to my Amazon storefront. When you buy from the Amazon storefront, it does help the channel. Doesn't cost you a nickel more. But if you want hydro holder, you can take a look at it there. I have an Amazon storefront and a Lowe's storefront, and the only products that I believe in make on it. I just don't suggest products just to make money. Video is a great example. I get nothing for H2O Maximizer, but I've dedicated an entire video to it because it's the best possible product. I'm here to help you with your lawn. On my Lowe's and Amazon storefronts, I only put products on there that I believe in, that I have used, that are effective for you. In addition, I've gone through the exercise of trying to find the lowest prices on these products that I can find. And in any of my videos, if you find products that are cheaper, please put them down below. I will put them either on my Amazon storefront or my Lowe's storefront, or recommend those where it's cheaper. Just like this example, here are two products. Both of them have a pre-emergent herbicide in them called Dipapir. Dimension is the common name. Both of them are 9.5 pounds. They are essentially the exact same product. One company has put their packaging on it, and the other company has put their packaging on it. Jonathan Green is the one that's on my Amazon storefront. Why? Because it's $10 less. I know how this stuff works because I've been doing this a long time and I understand the science behind it. And I've done this math for you on these storefronts. So keep that in mind whenever you're buying something. You cruise over there, take a look, leave questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. I look at my comments every morning on my on my channel, and I respond to every single one of them. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing this so I can help you, and I'm really enjoying this, particularly in retirement now, that I can help you with your lawn. And all the feedback that I've got, I really appreciate it. Rate of application. If you look at the label, it gets a little confusing, even to me, because they have injection systems in there. Actually, like some golf courses, you can actually have it injecting into the irrigation system. Some high-end courses do that, particularly with bent grass. Anyway, so there's that. Ignore that. They also have a rate on there as far as seeding. This probably would help you with seeding, but I'm not seeding when there's that much stress. I mean, it's sort of counterintuitive. I mean, if you were in a situation where you're just moving into a home and you got to get something on the ground, and there's no sense in seeding crap and then having to seed good stuff into the crap, I can see that. That's going to be a rare occasion that you're really going to need it at seeding. When you're going to need it, and the rates that here's what I'm going to do. I use a USDA plant hardiness map in all of my videos. It kind of helps you relate to timing. Basically, for every zone is about, I'm in zone 6. Zone 7, guys, you're about a week to 10 days ahead of me. Zone 5, guys, you're a week to 10 days behind me. I'm going to go out at about a 5-ounce rate on my tall fescue bluegrass, some bluegrass, mostly tall fescue ryegrass lawn. Not going to probably do it in the shade unless things get really bleak here on this tall fescue lawn. So that's where I'm going to float. I would think anywhere between 4 and 7 ounces. 7 ounces is at a higher rate. I mean, if you have bluegrass in a transition zone, I'm talking zone 6 and 7, 8, maybe some real tough guys growing bluegrass. Some of this Texas bluegrass. I'm getting comments on Texas bluegrass too. That's supposed to tolerate that 100-degree weather. Yeah, you're probably going to go with that 7-ounce rate. There again, if I haven't said it already, you need to wash this off the leaf blade. I get salesmen. It's not that they're saying anything wrong. I think they're trying to show you that it's simple. And I can't remember if the label says this, but a lot of labels say you don't have to water it in. You need to water this in. Reason being is it's not going to hurt the grass. But when you've got 90-degree temperatures and you're putting anything on your grass, with exception of, shouldn't be putting out anything on your grass as far as post-emergent herbicides. So I think this is a safe thing to say. If it's 90 degrees, you need to get whatever you're putting on your grass off the leaf blade. If it's that hot, you're going to get some phytotoxicity or phototoxicity on that. It can actually burn the tips of the turf. It grows out over time, but it's something you don't want. So between that 4 and 7 ounce rate, depending on the weather, depending on the turf species, particularly cool season grasses, warm season grasses, you guys with Bermuda and stuff like that, particularly out west, probably close to that 4 ounce rate, maybe 6 tops. So we have to play with it a little bit. I know, not getting precise like it is on a lot of pesticides. This is a specialty product. A lot of specialty products, fertilizer products, they can flip around with rates. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. And I can tell you this stuff does work. You saw what Matt's success has and the success that I've had with Primer over the years. So anyway, 4 to 7 ounces, depending on where you're at, depending on your specific situation. H2O Maximizer also comes in a pellet form. I get questions about using those pellets on the hose and adapters. Here's my honest take on those. I cannot recommend homeowners use those golf course style hose and adapters. They are designed for golf course irrigation systems. They need high pressure, high flow, high volume. Most homeowners don't simply have that pressure or volume in a hose, in a garden hose. So those pellets potentially could dissolve in a bucket of water. I did that last year. I need to experiment with that a little bit. However, I'm going to play around with that, but I can't verify rates consistently going out with those without the hose and adapter. So I'd be a little leery to do that. Stick with the liquid, simple, reliable. Now, some people are making claims about wetting agents that cut irrigation in half. I've always been cautious about that. I've used these for over 30 years. I don't view them as a magic product that cuts irrigation by 50%. Quite honestly, I think it's nonsense. What I do see is water gets into the soil more efficiently, more better distribution of that water, and plant available water improves in that soil. It handles stress better, and irrigation often becomes more effective. That's different than saying it cuts water in half. And I think that's a much more honest take. And you can see it in the golf course management article and also the literature cited down below. Hopefully, this helps you get through the summer. I'm hoping we get out of this drought. I'm hoping we don't have a nasty summer. And I'm hoping we have a fall where if you guys want to overseed, I have a fall overseeding video. You guys can check that out. Or better yet, we get through the summer and don't have to seed anything, particularly cool season grasses. Uh, Warm season grass, guys, keep keep the fertility going. If it really starts getting nasty, probably lay back on the nitrogen just a little bit. You don't want the grass growing too aggressively during these drought times and periods. Cool season grasses, back off that fertility. Generally, after Father's Day is what I do. I don't feed too much on cool season grasses, helping you with summer survival here a little bit. I don't feed cool season grasses too much in the summer. You just don't want that much growth because you're kind of pushing the plant to put topical growth on when you're putting nitrogen out. It's fine in the spring, but when you get in the nasty weather, you need to buckle down, let that grass leaf mature, fights off disease. There's a fine line between too much and not enough. I generally don't feed my cool season grasses in July and August. It's just not a good idea. And take a soil test. Here is a QR code. You can take a soil test there or get your soil test done there. That tells you can go to any state in the union, get a soil test from a qualified local land grant university. Don't use commercial. Get it from there. And some of those are less than $20 and it's non-biased. The soil tests on Amazon, don't recommend them. They're on my Amazon storefront because there's extractants and a few things, and typically they're marketed towards a certain brand of fertilizer. You need to get it from a local land grant university. Good information. I'm agronomist Greg Phillips. I hope this video helps you a great deal. Subscribe and hit the bell so you'll get notifications. I've got a grub video coming up here in a few weeks, and that should help you out. Actually, probably sooner than that. Thanks for watching.